All right, what's going on, winners? This is Coach JC, and I want to welcome you to another episode of the Win All Day podcast show. You know what? I am so stoked about our guest today. I'm going to bring her on the screen right now, just so you could see her. She makes me look good. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Hey, if you're a frequent listener or viewer, then you know what time it is. It's time for our Win All Day winning confession. If it's your first time, we believe at Win All Day that if you want to live a life of winning, then you have to speak words that are winning words. So I just need you to repeat after me as we kick this podcast off. Today is my day. Nothing will get in my way of me being the best version of me. I am here on purpose. I have a purpose. I am strong. I am passionate. I am fearless. I choose faith. I am a winner. I will win and win all day. Yes, you are a winner. And I believe after this episode with me and my friend that we are going to be able to increase your winning percentage. So without further ado, she's already on the screen. This is my girl. Let's go. What is up, Jessie Lee? They call her BOSSLEE, baby.
Okay, first of all, hello. That was amazing.
Let's go.
I'll tell you why you're successful. For anybody who's looking for secrets to success and stuff like that, which I know is why people listen to entrepreneurial podcasts, it's your energy. You know, our conversation before, I'm like, oh, he's got great energy. And then as soon as you open it up, it's that showmanship. It's that ability to turn it on right when you want to turn it on. And for whatever reason, most people don't understand that that's the secret sauce right there. You know, forget all the fancy whatever else and the lights and the camera and the action and you know, everything you feel like you need to know. It's energy. People love contagious energy, and you have that. So just like a nod to you really fast. But hi, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Come on, all day. Hey, I feel the same about you. And definitely if anybody visits your Instagram or your social media, they will feel that energy. And I think whatever season you're in of life, I think what you just said is key. It doesn't matter if you're a stay-at-home mom. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, a businessman, if you're in sales, especially. I believe the greatest transfer is your energy. Right. And so you just got to make a decision. A lot of it's decision. My energy comes from purpose. And we're going to talk about a lot of keys to success today. But this is the one and only Jessie Lee. They call her BOSSLEE. She's the people's mentor. She's crushed the game online in sales and network marketing. She's a speaker. And are you an author as well?
Not yet. I know, like Ryan's always like, write a book. I'm like, I'm going to write a book. But I want it to be like the bomb. So
yeah, a New York Times bestseller, the bomb. Let's go. All right, so Jessie Lee, let's do this. For people that are listening or watching that may not be familiar with who you are, I want to throw it over to you. Just give us a little of your background and how we got to where we are today, and then we'll just jump in and have a lot of fun today.
Cool. So I was born and raised in Middletown, Maryland. So a little teeny small country town. Now it's like a golf course, but not when I was there. Back when I was there 30 years ago, it was just a teeny tiny cow town. And so nobody really had much. And we were, you know, it was like simple living. And I was, of all the families with the simple living, I came from a family that was one of the most poorly off families. And so I don't like saying poverty anymore because I've seen very real poverty in my travels around the world. But it was not great. So I was not able to have a lot of experiences that a lot of people get to have, like normal stuff, like field trips or like, you know, even just the back to school clothes that everybody got to shop for and stuff like that. I never got that. And I'm actually really grateful for that because it instilled the will to win in me from a really young age. But a lot of life circumstances, crazy stuff happened, ended up being raised by my grandparents, thank God. And so in my own way, I was raised by a generation that in many ways, I think that I can affiliate with a little bit better than maybe my generation and maybe even my parents' generation. So some of the more simple, slow down things I really do like and older values and things of that nature. But I found I was always drawn to entrepreneurship. We can just start there. Like I liked the hustle. I didn't really understand in my own way, when I reflect, it's like I didn't understand victim mentality. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I watched my parents keep doing things that kept making things worse and worse and worse and worse for them, but they took no accountability for it. And I know even as a young girl, I was thinking to myself, there are better ways to go about this. You can make better choices. Why are we doing this and this and this when we shouldn't be? Or, you know, whatever the things are that you guys have all experienced in your own life. I'm not telling the story to tell mine. I'm telling the story so you can see yourself inside of it. And so from there, I liked the little hustle stuff. I did the Girl Scout cookie thing because it was cool for me to be able to sell more and win a prize. And I set up a little vegetable stand when I was young. And so I always had this little oh, you can do more.
Yeah.
And went to college though, because like I said, I was raised by my grandparents. So a generation that really appreciated extended education, if you will. Like right now, I selfishly, after being a college graduate, I love seeing I just saw something that said for the third year in a row, enrollment in college has dropped.
It's incredible.
I'm like, oh, here we go. The correction is coming. Because college taught me two things that I can tell you for sure, JC, Coach JC.
Come on, baby.
It taught me how to procrastinate, and it taught me how to binge drink. And aside from that, I don't know, man. I don't know that it taught me much else. But no, in all seriousness, I did graduate. But as soon as I graduated college, well, I should actually talk about college for a second because this is a podcast for winners. There was always a hustler mentality. And I think you either have it or you don't. And so when I went to college, I went on a full academic ride. I don't always tell this story, but for some reason I'm like called to tell it. I went on a full academic ride. My dad is an Army vet, so I had the GI Bill for $900 some odd a month coming in. And then I worked 3 jobs while I went to school for free. My housing was paid for and my food was paid for. So my expenses were very low. I'm talking, I don't know, maybe $500 a month, right? Is what I was spending living in New York City. And I was making 6 figures a year because I had 3 jobs. One of them was waiting tables in Times Square. And you're making a lot of money when you're waiting tables in Times Square. I mean, it's just like crazy. You're printing money.
For real.
And so then I graduate college and everyone's proud. Everyone's like, oh my God. Hey, you know, which is what most people do. Your kid goes to college. You're like, oh, my baby. Or gets like their real job. And I know I'm speaking to entrepreneurs. So that little real job, if you're listening and not watching, I put in quotations. What a joke. You know, I remember going to my real job in a pathology lab and signing my contract for after taxes. I was taking home $27,000, but a year. And everyone was so proud of me because my baby has benefits. Oh, she has insurance. Oh my God, a 401k. And I just was like, this sucks so bad. And, you know, extenuating circumstances, my rent was getting increased. I had to make a little side income because $27,000 a year was not enough. Threw me into entrepreneurship again for the real deal. And I've been a full-time entrepreneur for almost 12 years. January is 12 years of full-time entrepreneurship. So that's me in a nutshell, I guess.
Wow. Come on, girl. I appreciate you sharing that. First of all, we love who you are. I can tell you this. We have a lot of friends in common, a lot of colleagues in common, and everybody I talk to, like there's this common theme. Obviously, you're really good at what you do in business and entrepreneurship, but there's this common theme. We talked about energy earlier. Like you just like to have fun. Like everybody talks about you, like you're lighthearted, you like to have fun. You are a hustler. Like you have the hustler mentality and you get stuff done. But the one thing I love that I hear all the time, common denominator, is like, you bring a lot of joy to situations. Like you bring a lot of fun. I know people from different arenas, people that maybe, you've coached, right? And then people that are, colleagues, and everybody says the same thing. Like being around you is just electric. You like to have fun. And so I appreciate that. And I can just tell on this episode, like you're having fun already. You just speak the real. So that's awesome, girl.
Thanks so much.
So do this, jump into the entrepreneurship side of stuff. You go to college, you get out of college, you kind of follow this path that we see, right? A lot of times we do what we're told to do and what we're taught. And so now you're entering this entrepreneurship world. What were the endeavors that you jumped into as an entrepreneur?
I want to go back just for 1 second, if you don't mind, because you mentioned that people, and that is so cool. So thank you. I'm never going to forget that people say I bring joy. That is success to me. And not in the sense of I give joy to other people. I want more people to find their joy. And through the route of entrepreneurship and making decisions that feel right to me and saying no to things that have not felt right to me, which is a journey, by the way, because I was definitely a yes woman for a way too long. I have found so much joy, and I continue to seek joy more than the money or the cars or the trips or the accolades or any of this stuff. And not to say those stepping stones aren't important and I don't pay attention to them. It's just that inner happiness means so much more. And so I love that. I like to be, I am happy. I think joy just exudes from happy people. And so I love that. So yeah, entrepreneurship. I'll tell you where I started. The real thing is that people are brainwashed. Like, let's have a real conversation for a second. People are so brainwashed. They're brainwashed in everything. And I don't, and this is not even from, this is no political thing. This is no whatever. They're brainwashed in everything. They're brainwashed in nutrition. Like the food pyramid is a lie, right? They're brainwashed in health choices in general, right? They trust people with no research. They're brainwashed in what their television programming that they always watch is saying. And it's called programming for a reason. Okay. I don't know who needs to hear that. It's programming your mind. What you consume, you start to believe. If you hear something, you see something enough, most people are not fact checking things. Most people are not actually doing the research and saying, well, wait, hold on. So people told me, and again, I'm from a small town in Maryland. We touched DC. I lived 45 minutes from DC growing up, which means you were only really a person that mattered if your career path was government related, was military related, or was somehow science related. Everything else was kind of like, what? And so when I took this entrepreneurial route, where my first thing was, I actually just did direct sales. So direct sales, which is basically going to people's houses, you're presenting products, you're selling products. You can try to bring in a sales team, but there's no real residual income or anything like that going on. It's just like this little mini sales team where you can make small commissions off of them, right? No real coaching and any of that. None of that was involved in it. But that's where I got my feet wet, because I needed to make $300 a month. That was my goal. I didn't think long-term. I wasn't thinking this is going to be a long-term entrepreneurial journey or anything like that. But when I was telling people, oh my gosh, I just made $1,000, or oh my God, I just made $2,000. People looked at me like I was crazy. My mom was saying things like, how long are you going to do this? When I was 22 years old and I made $5,000 that month, almost, it's like 4,000 something. I still have a photo of the check. And I remember being like, Mom, I'm going to do this forever. Like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur forever. This feels so good. And I think what felt so good wasn't even the money. I think it was, for the first time in my life, I felt like entrepreneurship allowed me to have control.
Yeah.
If you have the entrepreneurial bug and if you are disciplined, you really can control your paycheck. People get pissed off when you say that as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like, people that aren't entrepreneurs are like, what is that JC guy talking about? Like, you can't write your own checks. What are you talking about? You literally can. You just get better skill sets and you work more hours. Like, that's all it is. And so, but I mean, people like excuses, but back to being brainwashed. They're used to, you're brainwashed as a child. You're brainwashed to wake up. These kids now are up at 6 a.m. to catch the bus at 6:45 to get to school, because school starts at 7:30. So then you're in school from 7:30 to 4 o'clock. What are they teaching you? They're teaching you how to be an employee who does the exact same thing the rest of their life till the day they die. Broke and unhappy and unfulfilled. So anyway, did direct sales. And then I was presented a network marketing opportunity in 2015. And it was an interesting pitch. I was already making good money. I was making maybe like $275,000 already a year, which I thought was like amazing. I was like a very egotistical, stupid kid, 25 years old. And my, this guy said, hey, I was looking at your sales that you posted on your Facebook, because I always liked social media. And he said, if you were doing network marketing, you'd be making $1 million a year. I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. Whatever, bro. Turns out bro was right. So, and it's kind of like one of those things. And again, this is just entrepreneurship in general too. But when you see something, you can't unsee it. Right? When you see something, you cannot unsee it. It's locked in your brain, no matter if you wanted to see it or not. Oh, and I saw that I would have been making $1 million a year. And 9 days later, I was in a network marketing company. Wow. And I did not care what anyone said, because I didn't care what anyone said anyway. But my first year in network marketing, I made $1 million. Come on. And people were, who the hell? Who is this girl? What is she? I'm like, I'm this 26-year-old man. And it was a whirlwind. And so that turned into a lot more, right? Then I decided to start really going crazy with network marketing, to not only build a brand, but also to learn a lot more skill sets. The best network marketers actually treat it like a business, not like an affiliate program. Yeah. And then from there, I became an investor in a lot of stuff. I opened other businesses, traditional businesses. I do a lot of coaching and mentoring and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it has provided a really cool life so far. And I'm certainly not done, as I imagine you are not done either.
Let's go. Come on, girl. I'm so excited. So you know Alex Morton?
Absolutely. Yes.
He was just on the podcast and we were talking about network marketing in regard to, there's different opinions out there, obviously, right? You have the people that dog network marketing. They've tried it, right? It didn't work for them. They tried 15 different companies to work for them. And then you have the people that swear by network marketing. And we had a great conversation about how he said, it worked for me. It's made me a millionaire. It's created me the freedom that I want. And it's a great start for an entrepreneur. He talked about that. It's a great start for any person in developing skills that are going to absolutely direct you into the entrepreneurship world. So I want you to talk about that for a second. Like, what do you say to the person out there? And we're going to talk about women too, because I think I feel like you're going to inspire and empower a lot of women that are listening or watching that are stuck. Here's the bottom line. Like, we're talking about winning, and there's a lot of people that are losing in life. There's a lot of people that are just sleepwalking through life. Right, Jesse, with no purpose, no passion, lacking drive, not experiencing joy like we talked about earlier, or true abundance and fulfillment, right? And every day, it's like there's people in this battle, and they can get so stuck and brainwashed and programmed and stay stuck their entire life. And there's so many people that are alive but not living, just going through the motions.
Oh, come on.
So I want you to talk about, to the person right now that might be on their side that say, man, you guys are talking about making money. You guys are talking about success. What would you say to the person that says, hey, you took a leap in the entrepreneurship world, and you went from 250 to making millions? And what would you say to that person right now that might be losing in life, and they're complacent, they're comfortable, it's cost them their calling, and they don't have passion, they don't have energy, they don't have purpose? What would you say to that person?
Oh, I got to beep, back it up. I'll speak to that person. Back it up. First, I want to say what you were, I'm a note taker too. I see you over there too. Look, you said the people that jump from 15 different companies and they're just losing. You're losing because you never were disciplined enough to stick with something when it got hard. And that is not a network marketing conversation. That is a you problem. Take some accountability. Like, when something is hard, I feel it. I just don't go, oh, no. I go, ooh, we have a challenge. Now, I ask myself then, why is this hard for me? What skill sets am I missing that if I would learn them, this would be easier for me? Because successful people look for solutions. They don't look for problems. And unsuccessful people are the first people to find the problems. Their brain becomes a vacuum. Everything around you is doom and gloom. Everything's falling apart. Your partner sucks. Your kids are bad. Your money's wrong. Your health is out the window. Everything's bad. Everything's bad. Everything's bad. Everything's bad. Well, then why does it seem like everything is good for people, right? Because it's a vacuum of positivity. It's a vacuum of solutions. And I'm not here to tell you that network marketing was easy. Okay. I'm not here to tell you that every step along the way I wanted to do it. I will tell you, for the first 3.5 years of the direct sales, network marketing, whatever, I wanted to quit more often than I wanted to stay, because there were times where I was like, the amount of hours I'm putting in to learn a business model makes no sense. But what also makes less sense to me is that people will literally go to college for 4 years making no money. 4 years, no money, to go get a job where they can hardly afford to live. And that's somehow not a scam. That doesn't make any sense if you actually think about it. But people go crazy when they only make $100 a month, or $200 a month, or $500. I'm only making $1,500 a month. You are making nothing. If you would spend 4 years on devoted education, where you had to test and actually know the skill sets, you would stop with this. It's just that it's a volunteer sales force, and you have to have the accountability around what you're doing. I can't blame anybody if I'm not successful. I can only blame myself. A lot of people are good at pointing fingers at everybody else. Look at the thumbs that are pointing back a little bit more often. And I was willing to do that. Back to Alex for a second. We always joke around. He's like, you're the queen, I'm the king. I'm like, all right, that's cool. That's cool. Because both of us have this high octane personality where never have you been able to tell either one of us, in any experience I've had with him over the last, 9 years together. I mean, we're not together in any kind of business, but together, you can't tell us no. Like, in the sense of, you can't say, no, this is impossible. No, that can't be done. No, you're going to hit a wall here. No, whatever. We've had business partners leave. We've had the crazy stuff online of whatever people do when people don't like people, all of this stuff. This is normal behavior, but neither one of us was willing to quit. And people at the top of any profession, regardless of what we're talking about, do not quit. So, but you really said something cool. You said, lots of people losing in life, no purpose, and they lack drive. Okay. That's the problem. Well, what do you care about?
Yeah.
Like, whoever's listening to this, you need to get still sometimes. You need to journal sometimes. You need to start asking yourself maybe the tougher questions, like, why don't I have a life that I want? Why do I give up on everything? Why don't I know what gives me joy? Why do I give up when something is difficult? What am I playing for? And it doesn't have to be for a person. Sometimes it can be for just a greater good, right? Sometimes it can just be for, you have this huge, overwhelming purpose and calling on your life, and you can't explain why you need to make the money, and you need to give away the money, and you need to create a foundation, you need to do all this stuff. You can't explain. But I was at dinner last night and somebody said something like, "Oh, I'm going to retire when I'm 35." And I said, and he's like a hustler, right? And I said, "No, you're not."
Yeah.
Like, "No, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. That's my goal." I'm like, then you're not as much of a hustler as I thought you are, because every level of success, you'll want more.
Yeah.
And not in a greedy way. And I explained it to him like this. He's Jewish. And I said, I know Jewish school is expensive. So wouldn't it be cool if you could donate, or if you could pay like a scholarship for 10 kids to go to Jewish school every year? He's like, "Oh my God, it'd be amazing." I'm like, "It's pretty expensive, right?" And he lit up. I don't even know this guy,
Yep.
right? It was the first time I ever met him. He's like, "Oh my God." I said, "See, that look you just made would only feel like that when you do it the first time for 10 people.
Come on, girl.
Then you're going to want to do it for 100.
Come
You're going to want
on.
to give it to 100 Jewish babies. You're going to want to give them a scholarship to Jewish school. And then that's the only time it's going to feel that good. You're going to want more, which means you got to be more. You got to become more. You got to give more. You got to serve more. You got to teach more. That's what this is about. So people, if you want to win all day with Coach JC, if you want to win your day, what is your purpose in life? What are you doing? You're not
Come
just on
on.
this sphere that's rotating around this, whatever the hell is going on, right? This rock or whatever. Okay, you're not just here to do nothing. I don't think anybody's here to do nothing. And if you look at the likelihood of you even being born, it is so low that you couldn't convince me that you don't have a greater calling on your life. So go do something about it. But like, what would I say to somebody that is lost like that? I would just say, like I said, get still and probably stop comparing yourself to other people. Some people's journey is going to be flashy, and it's going to be loud, and it's going to be very bold, and it's going to be income producing. It's going to be all this stuff. Maybe your journey is more of one of service. Maybe your journey is more one of the teaching. Maybe yours is, it doesn't matter what it is,
Yep.
but stop thinking that you have to do what everybody else is doing to be different. And I think that, or to have your life. And I think that's one of the most powerful things about what I do is I wasn't following anybody. It's why I stand out.
Yeah.
People are like, oh my God, she does all this stuff. Well, I just don't remind you of anybody, but that's because I'm following my calling. I've spent enough time being still and being real with myself and just being intentional about what I want with my life. And then I have no problem saying, is this fulfilling me or not? And then doing things that really fuel my soul and not my ego. And that is a personal development journey, because it is super normal to say, oh my gosh, this made my first $1 million. Let me go buy a new car. Oh my gosh, this made my first $250,000. Let me buy a $1,000 pair of shoes, or whatever it is. There's all these different levels like we were talking about, but I just want people to do things that feed their soul. And I think that you'll find your purpose. I think you'll find your joy. I think that when you find an opportunity that is placed in front of you, you'll view it differently. And I don't think opportunity knocks once or anything like that. I know that used to be like a really popular phrase people would say, but I don't think it comes around all that often when it's that great. And so when opportunity is knocking, when you feel like there's a calling around you on your life, you don't have to leap necessarily, but I think it's a Martin Luther King Jr. quote. He says, you don't have to, he's like, if you can't walk, crawl. Or wait, if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, then crawl, but just keep moving forward. It's like, just do something.
Powerful.
Some people are in hell, and I swear to God, they brought a stool and they sat down. It's like,
come on, girl.
What are you doing? Move.
Come on. I love it. This is Jessie Lee, Coach JC, the Win All Day podcast. You made me think of a quote that I heard, because we have a lot of similarities. I grew up in New Jersey. I threw away a basketball opportunity, ended up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but grew up extremely poor. And people that know my story ended up over $400,000 in debt, suicidal, depressed, this crazy identity crisis, and in a custody battle. And so I remember reading a quote that Tony Robbins said, and he said, the greatest force in life is a soul on fire. And it was at that moment when I made a decision, and we're talking about decision today, where I remember how I created this new purpose for my life. And so the person listening right now or watching, I want to challenge you before we move on, because I don't want you to miss this, right? What is your purpose? A purpose brings life. We were talking about it earlier, like, where does Coach JC's energy come from? Where does Jessie Lee's energy come from? Where does the passion come from? It doesn't come from her making money. It comes from a purpose. Now, Jessie Lee, you've made the money. There's a new purpose. It's to help liberate and help other people now create the freedom that you've experienced. And so when you have purpose, you bring a different energy, right?
Yes.
It's why I live with so much intensity and effort each day. And so I want to challenge the person listening right now. What are you living for? right? When you have a purpose, it's easier to get up after the delays and the distractions and the disappointments that life throws at you. When you have a purpose, you make what's in front of you stronger than what's behind you. Right? When you have a purpose, you make what's inside of you, that purpose, that why, bigger than what you see outside at the moment, the fear, the worry, the doubt, and all that stuff. And so don't miss that before we move on. Don't let another day go by where you live a life with no purpose, no why, no driver, no juice. You got to find that. And then you said something else that's powerful, talking about the victim mentality. I think it's so powerful because I think that's the quickest way to take back the power, Jesse. Like, think about the people, how many times we give away our power. You said something about taking responsibility, right? Everything in your life. Like if you were just to say, I am the creator of my reality, right? And that's the difference of, victim mentality is responsibility, right? I'm no longer going to give away the power. I'm no longer going to blame and complain. This is my life. I'm the creator of my reality, right? Obviously, you didn't get to where you are today without going through adversity or obstacles, right? But if you want to win, if your life isn't where you want it to be right now, and you're listening to Jessie as she speaks, and you want to be at a different level mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, right? You've got to stop playing victim, right? And I think what Jessie said, you were talking about the hustler mentality. There's so many great things right now, like hustle mentality. You got to work for that, right? Happiness, joy, success, winning, all the things we're talking about. It's not given to you. You earned that. And so many times you see somebody at your level and people are like, oh my gosh, she just got that. She won the lottery. What? You earn the right every single day to either win or lose. You earn the right to look in the mirror and feel good about what you see. You earn the right, to look in the mirror and feel good about your bank account, about your marriage, your relationships, your business, your mission, your career. You earned it. And so you put a lot of work in. I want the person listening right now to not miss this. Like if you are going to play victim, you'll never win. And the opposite of victim is you just got to take full responsibility and say, you know what? If my life isn't where I want it to be right now, I have the power to change that. And I believe anybody can. And I want you to speak to the woman right now, Jessie, because I'm so inspired by you. Like I love a strong, like I look at your Instagram, like you stand out. Like you're like unauthentically you. And I love it because most people don't show up because they make decisions based off of fear. And you talked about it earlier, being a people pleaser. How do you fight through the fear to say, I'm going to show up unapologetically, authentically me? Because you make videos and you say some stuff that some people would be like, what the hell? What's this girl doing? But you keep doing it. And I love it because it's you and it's what draws people to you. It's an attractive character, like Russell Brunson says, right? It's what is appealing to people. It's what makes you relatable and relative. So what would you say to the woman right now that's just shrinking and hiding and downsizing her most valuable asset, you? Because you're a strong, powerful woman and you show up every single day on your videos, unapologetically you. And that's what really, I believe, got you to where you are today. Talk to that woman.
Oh gosh, that was so good. I hope everyone reminds that. I was like, I took a page of notes just from what you just said.
What?
So if nobody, I swear to God, look.
Come on, girl.
So if y'all are not taking notes, this would be a good time to like rewind the whole entire podcast, start from the beginning and try again. Okay. I love it. One thing you said it for, I will answer all of it. I promise. You said, what are you living for? And I don't know who said it, but somebody also said, because some people have a hard time with that. Some people have a hard time going, what am I living for? And I wish I could give credit where credit is due. Somebody said, well, what are you dying for?
Yeah.
What are you willing to die for? Because some people don't know how to find their passion, their purpose. Maybe it's in that. What is the cause or the person or the people or the things or the place or the mission that you're willing to die for? What are you willing to sacrifice everything for? It's just a different conversation because living, it's easy to start going materialistic or, oh, my life could be this or whatever. Like, what are you willing to die for? Because you're not going to be willing to die for a Rolex. I'm just going to tell you. Okay. You're not going to be willing to die for one trip to Bali or something like that. It's not true. So
Bali's nice and a Rolex is nice.
Right. And I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah,
I'm just saying when people set those kind of monetary based goals or purpose, it fills a purpose for a moment kind of goals. Those are the people I see when I coach, that they're really excited when they run for that. And then once they have it, it's almost like sometimes they join the witness protection program, or they have this identity crisis of like, who am I? I thought I would, and I would just like for everyone who's listening to this to please avoid that at all costs. So, and then you said, I'm the creator of my reality. Yes. I said it on my Instagram story yesterday, I think. It's like, what you are not changing, you are choosing. What you are not changing, you are choosing. And so if you don't like something in your life, I'm not telling you to upheaval the entire thing. I'm just saying, could you change little steps? Because humans are creatures of habit. We create our life based off of patterns. It doesn't, anybody who works a normal job or whatever, it doesn't even matter if you do or not. Anybody that is used to waking up at 6 a.m. and you do that Monday through Friday, what is the latest you can actually wake up on a Saturday when you could sleep in? 7:30 the latest. It's a pattern. You walk your dogs always. You feed your kids always. You either are somebody who goes to the gym and is disciplined, or you're not. But if you're not changing it, you're not changing your patterns, you're not changing your behaviors, you're continuing to repeat your own toxic cycle. So anyway, I would just say, take your power back. I'm big on taking your power back and everything. And so women in general, this is for everybody, but my audience is about 60-40 females. So yours is probably I don't know, like 80% men or something. They're like, who is this girl? But hi. So there's a couple like, what the hell? Who'd you bring on this podcast? This girl crazy. No, I'm kidding. But like, there's a lot of stuff. And this again is a journey. So whoever's listening to this, whether you're a woman or not, I need you to understand that this idea of you diluting who you are so that people will like you is not working in your favor. Okay. This idea of you need to censor these certain things about yourself, or you shouldn't let people know this about you, or you shouldn't dress a certain way because it's going to whatever. You shouldn't have tattoos. I see your whole arm has tattoos. So a good example, right?
You have no tattoos though, right?
Oh, I have tons. My entire right side of my body is covered.
I know. I've seen them.
Okay. I was like, what? You're not following very closely, sir. No. But it's giving ew, you're by trying to be for everyone, you're being for no one. So I do talk about things that people are like, she did just say that. Okay. She just said, wow. Okay. You'll just have to follow along, to find out what I'm talking about. But like, I am out there sometimes. I give like a little bit of tea on my life, a little bit like, wow. Sometimes some people are like, I think I know a lot about her. That's like a little personal. I don't care. Like, whatever. If it allows you to let your freak flag fly, then by all means follow my stories, right? Like, I just don't care. And if it offends you, you weren't going to do business with me anyway, because we could not sit across from each other in a business conversation where you don't know who I am as a person. I don't like doing business with people that don't know who I am at my core, who don't have core values like me, who don't allow people to have freedom of expression. I'm not telling you need to be like me. I'm saying I respect you and your differences, respect me and mine, right? That's all there is about it. It's like, I'm just loud and bold about who I am because I've attracted I have the best followers in the world. So I'm just going to let y'all know. So welcome all the new followers, but they're the best. They are so loyal because they know who Jessie Lee is. It's not because they just know who BOSSLEE is. It's not because they're kind of guessing. It's because they feel like they have a friend. And the crazy thing is, I meet these people in person, whether it's meetups I do or events I'm teaching at and training at. They'll come and buy tickets, or, my mastermind, or like whatever. They finally meet me. And I swear to you, I feel like I know them and they feel like they know me so deeply because of social media. And it cracks me up because people were so scared to share the smallest things about them. I remember when I was first doing e-com, direct sales stuff in, let's call it 2012 or 2013. And I remember when somebody said, well, I guess you could just ask them for their credit card number over the phone. And I'm like, I don't have time to make the phone call. They said, well, then I guess how are you going to close the sale? Because nobody's going to give you their credit card number through Facebook Messenger. It wasn't Instagram, or I wasn't on Instagram. I'm like, oh my God. And I remember when the first credit card number came through on Facebook, I'm like, wow, people trust me. And they trusted me because I was vulnerable and I was real.
Yeah.
And now people will give you their social security number on Instagram Messenger, their phone number, their address, their dog's address, their mom's address, their credit card number, their birth certificate. They'll scan it in for you. They'll send you their passport. They'll basically say, steal my identity, Jessie Lee. I would never. I'm just saying, like you create these deep bonds with people when you're actually real. I don't try to be perfect. And something that is, I really want to say to anybody, and I know this is going to hit women, but it'll also hit men, just because it was very impactful for me when I kind of had this epiphany. You have the right to change your mind.
Come on.
You have the right to change who you are. Like, that's on growth.
Come on.
So this idea that I'm the same woman I was when you knew me when I was 25 is a disgusting thought. You don't know me, even if we met a year ago. I'm very different. I've had different coaches, I've read different books. I've been exposed to different belief systems. I don't have the same political affiliations as I did when I was a little tiny girl and all I had was this little bit of information, right? I don't have the same opinions anymore about things because I've moved different places. I've traveled the world. I've been to, I don't even know how many countries. I've seen real poverty. So I don't use that word anymore, but people will, they could say, well, she said she grew up in poverty. I haven't said it since I came back from Jordan.
Wow.
Because when I was in Jordan, I saw real freaking poverty. Like I could cry even thinking about it. Like there are people struggling at a totally different level, right? So I changed. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to be somebody who has multi-talents. You're allowed to be somebody who's a completely diverse person. You're allowed to be somebody with tons of talents and convictions and beliefs. And you're allowed to change and expand. If we're going to live to be 100 years old, you better change as a person. It's okay to get rid of different people in your life and put new people in your life and in your corner, in your circle. But what I see a lot of people doing, and this has just got to stop, is you have to stop shaming yourself for things you did in the past. I see men and women alike literally living decades in their past from shame of things you did or things that happened to you. And the only time that is present is right now. It's right now. Now that's in the past. Now it's right now. Now that's in the past. Now that, we are moving into the future. And by you deciding to sit in your past because of shame and judging yourself and feeling like you're not good enough and feeling like, well, I don't like my voice on camera and I don't like how I look on camera and I could lose 10 pounds and I could dress better and my hair, I don't like how my hair looks and I don't like how this, you know what? No one cares except for you. And you living in this little shame bubble, forget the fear. The fear is, you should feel the fear and it should be, oh, okay. Now I'm going to learn the skill set and I'm going to move forward.
Yeah.
You need to do a lot more of that. And that takes being bold, but you've got to leave the shame behind because it is not helping you do anything except for drown. And it's got to stop if you want to win.
Wow. Come on, girl. You're firing me up right now. I don't even know why I'm sitting. I usually never sit. I'm always standing. I mean, I believe there are people that after this episode, they're going to get a belief back. And because you're making me think I was there, Jessie, my whole identity was in basketball. When I threw that away, I lived with so much guilt, so much shame. And until I cut ties with my full name, Jonathan Keneally, no one even knows me by that. I created Coach JC, right? And I didn't even know my purpose at the moment. Right? We talked about purpose earlier. I just started to become a better version of me. And I created this playbook because it was live or die. My back was against the wall. But I think like what you said, so powerful. You could be, and I was a prisoner of my past. And we are all products of our past, but we get to choose if we're going to be a prisoner of it. If we're a prisoner of our past, we never get to truly be who we need to be in the present and never get to really experience what the future is holding. So I want to talk to the person right now and just tell you, Jessie's, you're spitting so much fire. And if you're listening right now and you're lacking purpose, you're lacking significance, you're lacking fulfillment, we talked about, you're not going to find it in things or people or money. God designed you. I always go back to this, you, not forget me and Jessie for a second. You listening, you watching, you were placed on this planet for, you were designed, you were destined to do something great, baby. You're different. You're unique. Put Jessie aside for a second. God's no respecter of person. There's not another one of you. And you shrinking and you hiding and you pulling back is doing nothing for the world. There are people on their side that need what you have. And so, stop negotiating with who you are. We're talking about identity. Like Jessie said it, you're not something that you did in the past. You're not your past mistakes. You're not your past failure. You're not something that happened to you. Maybe it's the divorce you went through, like me, the rejection, right? The limiting beliefs, the failures. You're not something that somebody told you, a past, boss, teacher, parent, whoever, right? You get to choose. And so, and your career, your profession, the money you make, that doesn't define you either, right? Your identity is not what you do for a living. It's not the money you make. It's not the success you have. It's not the past experiences or mistakes. The number one enemy of success is self-doubt. And I believe that's the number one thing I just took from what you said, Jessie, is like there's so many people, they're not winning. They're not maximizing their God-given talents and abilities. They're not living a life of purpose. They're stuck because they just doubt. They have so much doubt of who they, like the greatest belief you can have, I believe, is a belief in God. The second greatest belief you can ever have is a belief in you. And so I want you to talk about that for a second, because that's what you're taught. You have a confidence that I feel is going to empower, inspire other women to rise up after this call, after this podcast, after they see you. And so low self-esteem leads to low self-image, and we show up not ourselves, not the Jessie Lee we're talking about unapologetically, and we rob ourselves and we rob the people that need us. And so I want you to talk to the person and the woman, like, what did you do? What's some of the things that Jessie Lee did? Like, were you just born this way? Like, how did you create this self-confidence, this self-esteem to just show up and say, I'm going to go through, I'm going to go over, I'm going to go under. I don't care what people think. I'm showing up with a confidence because I know what my purpose is. Like, how did you do this?
Well, that's a great question. The first thing is I know who I am. So you mentioned identity. I am not trying to impress you. I'm just not. You like me or you don't like me. And I am so okay with that because I love me. And if you don't like me, that is very sad for you because I am a good person. So really, I really love me. I like time alone. I think a good judge of you enjoying yourself and who you are and your own identity is, do you like time alone? And you really want to ask that question. I don't just mean like alone with your music blasting, with podcast blaring, with you're scrolling on social media. Can you turn off all noise and just enjoy yourself?
Yeah.
And most people are so scared of that. Like literally they will, like the thought of being alone with their thoughts will drive them mad. Well, I like me. And I'll tell you why I like me. I like me because I know what my character is. And it is completely separate from what my reputation is, or it might be aligned. My point is, I don't care. Like whatever you think about me does not affect me because I understand my intentions. Most people, their confidence is coming from external sources. Most people, their confidence is coming from if they win. Most people, their confidence is coming from what everybody else is talking about them. And as soon as somebody says, you are ugly, they're like, oh my God, am I ugly? Okay, even when I was ugly, I didn't think I was ugly. Okay. Like I'm just gonna be real. Like I look at photos of me, I'm like, you were not cute, but like you really thought you were doing that. And now I look in the mirror, I'm like, okay, all right, this is what we
This girl is on fire.
Yeah, like now you look like what you thought you looked like. But back then, like, girl, it was all confidence. I'm like, how did I pull some of these men? Like they were sexy as hell. I'm like, oh, because confidence, right? So anyway, I know who I am. So my character is the same. When I put my head on a pillow at the end of the night, I love who I am. I love what I've accomplished. I love what I've done. It doesn't even matter at all what anybody else is saying about me on the internet, or nobody talks crap in person. But if it were in person, like, I don't care because I know who I am. And so the way you get that confidence, though, is by doing what you say you're going to do. And most of you don't do this. And it's not the huge stuff. It's not, oh, I set a goal to be a millionaire and then you didn't do it. And now I'm just going to cry about it. No, it's like, stacking my little wins. I stack little wins all day long. I wake up every day and I do the same things. My pattern is something that makes me feel good about myself. I don't miss the gym, not because if I don't go to the gym tomorrow, my body's going to look any differently. My body will look basically the exact same. It will look the exact same tomorrow if I work out tomorrow or if I don't, period. But what will I think about myself? How will I show up on my meetings? How will I show up on my calls? How will I show up for my content creation? How will I show up for my friends? How will I show up with what I eat? Because when I'm stacking these chips, it's a multiplier in my life. So when I look at, who I was or what I was doing, or the parts of my life where maybe I was sad or anxious or depressed or not happy or unfulfilled or whatever, it's because little tiny chips in my confidence were happening every day based off of my routines that I shouldn't have made. I could have made tiny choices, tiny little choices that would have made me feel better. I would have felt more confident. I would have felt more fulfilled. I would have been not so scared to go for another no. I wouldn't have been so, oh gosh, should I reach out to that person? I wouldn't have been scared to ask for the, the cross sell or the upsell or the whatever, because I would have been like, yeah, you get up every day and you do the same thing. You say the same scripts, you do the same routine. You are a machine, Jessie Lee. So I talk nice to myself. Y'all are talking mean to yourself all the time. Like, ooh, I'm not the, listen, I don't talk mean to me. All right. I'm my biggest fan, and it's not in a weird, crazy, whatever way. It's just, I've trained before, because I know this is a real thing. People have that voice in their head that's like, they look in a mirror, they're like,
yeah,
oh my God, I'm terrible in that. Or they're about to go to a meeting. Why would anybody choose you? They could join Jessie Lee. Like, I don't have that psychopath in my head that some of you have. That's just mean. And those of you who have that mean person, I want you to actually visualize if that person came in your house and said that kind of stuff to your children.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you'd find a gun, even if you don't have one. You might be anti-gun and you'd find a gun and you'd shoot them. All right. Talking to your kids like this, right? Well, do it for yourself. Protect this, because the real secret outside of energy is mindset. And if you had bad mindset, I'm telling you, you would not have high energy. You, again, know who you are. You know what you want. You know where you're trying to go in your life. And so you're getting after it. But I don't think, and I think a lot of it, no, it was not me growing up this confident woman. Hell no. I actually think that my really rough childhood is why I was willing to go through the hard times as an adult.
Yeah.
So when people aren't comfortable with the no's, or aren't comfortable being rejected in business, or aren't comfortable when a bank won't give them a loan, or aren't comfortable with whatever, fill in the blank, I'm like, tell me you got everything you wanted as a child, please. Because I was told no with everything. We were broke. So if I wanted an ice cream cone, it didn't matter how many times I tried to sell mom and dad or Nana and granddad. Ain't no ice cream coming. We ain't got it, right? It didn't matter how hard I was trying to sell, right? It didn't matter. It was always no. So when people started telling me no in my entrepreneurial journey, or saying, I don't like her, or me, dude, I ate alone at lunch. No one liked me anyway in school. So you know what? Cool. I'm used to eating alone. I'm used to being told no. I'm used to being the girl everyone's making fun of because the clothes aren't cool. I'm used to being told, no, you can't come to our friend's house because we don't like you. You know what? Cool. I'm used to it. So now tell me no in business. It doesn't hurt me. I'm going to move on to the next.
Wow. Come on, baby. Let's go. Hey, it makes me think of a quote Tony Robbins said years ago when I was going through the meaning of anything in life only has the meaning that you choose to give it. And so I'm playing off of what you said. The only thing keeping you right now, listening or watching, from being who you are called to be is the story that you keep telling yourself of why you can't be that. The only thing keeping you from having what you desire and what you want in life and living the life you want is the story that you're choosing to keep telling yourself of why you can't have it. Jessie said it. It's you versus you. So how do you talk to yourself every single day? We talk about that a lot in Stacking Wins and what we do in Win All Day in our playbook. Like, there's death and life in the power of your tongue. And some of you right now, you're your worst critic. You're talking trash about yourself. You're the only opposition. You're the only competition right now. Every single day, you got to make a decision. I love that you said that, Jessie. And so let's do this. I could talk to you all day. I love who you are, girlfriend.
Great.
I want you to talk about some of the intentions real quick, because Win All Day is about stacking wins. And it's about laying your head on the pillow at night and being able to lay your head on a pillow and say, you know what? I maximized. I wasn't good. I wasn't average. I didn't just show up today, but I absolutely maximized my God-given talents today. I gave it all I had, and I moved closer to become who I can become so I can have what I desire to have. And that we believe that's based around calling and purpose, and ultimately serving and impact and giving back and, fulfilling your destiny. And so, what's some of the things that the one and only BOSSLEE Jessie Lee does on a daily basis? Because you talked about mindset. That's a huge thing. You talk about working out, but what's some of we know routines and habits and structure is a huge part, processes and systems that you put in place to get you where you are today. So what's some of the things that you do on a daily basis to continue to build the best like version of you, the winner, that Jessie Lee? Give the viewers or listeners, the ladies, something that they could take away and say, wow, what's a habit? What's a ritual? What's some of the routines that you do on a daily basis to be who you are?
Yeah, I wish I could be this like super entertaining, like, wow, she's a party animal. No, I am a force of habit. I'm a creature of habit. I like my life to be a certain way. I don't like anything to be disrupted, but everyone's like that. It's just to what extent. And so some of you are creatures of habit of just being lazy and mean to yourself. So I mean, I'll give you some tactical things that help too with the things I'm saying. So my morning is really strict, and I'm thankful that I have dogs for a lot of reasons. They're amazing. But one of the reasons is it literally doesn't matter if I want to wake up at even 7 o'clock. My dogs are like, the hell is this? Like, no, we wake up at 6, mother. So it doesn't matter, you know, and every day I'm up at the same time. Now I do not touch my phone until at least a half hour after I'm moving and doing the most. And the reason I do that is because I want to be able to respond and not react. And so this theory like, oh, well, I'll just look at everything and then I'll only respond when if there's a fire, like there will always be a fire, right? So I'd rather just not go there until I get to have, you know, intention set in my day. But we go on a walk, and the walk immediately, first of all, gets the blood moving, obviously, which is, I don't think this is like exercise, but actually for women, since you mentioned women should probably, there are a lot of studies on this. Stop with the high intensity interval training if you're a female. It spikes your cortisol like crazy. All the pounding. Stop working out like a man all the time. You'll look better. You're welcome. But I like heavy weights, but like, don't get me wrong. You can't work out the same. All right. But I do like the walks in the morning. And if you're going to do nothing else, move your body and go on a walk. But on that walk, and this is probably the most important, I don't know, I shouldn't say the most important part of my day, but I'm always listening to a podcast or an audiobook.
Awesome.
And so like I have specific walks in my day. I have a walk that is that walk, which is I am always growing and learning and developing. I don't care how you develop as a person throughout your day, but if you're not growing as a leader, then why would anybody follow you as a leader? You are not worthy of leading anybody. I'm just saying it. So, because you can't even lead yourself. But anyway, so I do some kind of development. I like the audiobooks because I can hit the microphone in my notes section in my phone, and I can voice to text, so it stops the audio when I get the notes of whatever I like to hear. So it's like a little that works really well for me. The other 2 walks, is a walk that I do only gratitude. You can call it a prayer walk. You can call it gratitude. You can call it an intention walk, whatever. It doesn't matter. Manifestation walk. I don't care. But this is in the afternoon. And again, it's with the dogs and out loud saying I'm praying. I'm just saying thank you for, you know, whatever. It could be breath in my lungs, could be my business, could be this podcast, could be relationships, it could be the joy, it could be, it doesn't matter, you know, my health, my wealth, whatever. I'm just constantly, and this is like, you know, half hour, 45 minutes of just, you know, goodness, because I find that when you are in a state of gratitude, fear does not exist. And so when you are sad, anxious, depressed, fearful, lonely, whatever it is, fill in the blank, take a minute and go to a place of gratitude, and you will probably realize, whoa, I'm not, I can't feel those negative emotions. And then I do have a walk at night, which it is intentional for my content, because I'm making sure I'm creating content every single day. And I want to make sure I'm not totally out of the loop of trends and stuff like that. It helps my sales teams more than it helps me, because I'm not always a trending person. I'm more of a use my own voice person in my content. But that is when I will consume TikTok and Instagram Reels solely to save sounds. So it's not to catch up on the drama of whoever's cheating on whoever and whatever. That I don't care about any of that. I watch it so I can find the viral sounds that keep replaying, so I can save.
Wow.
So it's very disciplined though, because if I miss the development in the morning, the whole day's thrown off. And I don't mean a little bit. It goes back to what I was talking about with stacking habits. It will literally make me feel like when I come back, if I do the walk but no development, I'm pointing at my door, like you can see what I'm pointing at the door, right? If I do the walk and I don't have the podcast or the book playing in my ears to develop me further as a leader, I will sit around. It happens so, guys, it happens like this. It happens so fast. Next thing you know, I'm talking to myself like, do I need to go to the gym, or should I just like, yes, you need to go to the gym. I mean, it's these little tiny things. It's crazy how fast it happens. So I'm just stacking that every day. So a little habit with that, with the gym, is stop going to the gym that is fancy or whatever and is 20 minutes away. Okay. I know people do this. just stop. Just go to the gym that's 5 minutes away. That's got everything you need to work out with. Okay. Like, who are you trying to impress? Just stop, right? Like, you will go to the gym more often if you take away the barriers. Most people have a lot of barriers. If you're bad at working out right now and you know you need to, the night before before the morning, when you are about to go to bed, you put your shoes, your workout outfit, everything right next to your bed. You have got to get rid of all of these obstacles in your way to your greatness, right? So my AirPods are right next to the door where I grab the audio, where I grab everything with leashes, whatever. I don't want to, well, what am I going to do? Where's the pot? They're right there. Yeah. Everything. I'm making my life easier constantly along the way. And then it's I know what I'm going to do when I go to the workout, and other people don't know what they're doing. Like, I know what the day of the week is that I'm working out, whatever the muscle group is. I know what my plan is. I don't go into anything without a plan. Every day it's the same kind of content flow. Like, I know how many pieces of content I'm going to post. I know who to check up with. I know who I need to touch base with, and I know how to simplify my life. And what I mean by that is, there are things that I used to have to pay attention to, and I'd say, Jessie Lee, you're doing a very, very bad job at, call it follow-up. And I'd say it would be cost effective for me to hire somebody to do follow-up, because I'm not doing it. Even when I felt like I wasn't in a position financially to do so, because I was not doing it. And so for some of you, maybe it's content creation. You're horrible at it. Like, you might need to hire it out. Even if I really can't afford it, you can't afford not to if you're trying to build a business. Like, you need to switch your mindset here around this. And then, yeah, everything's on a schedule. So even on my schedule, there's times of the day when I have an alarm that pops up. It says, be grateful. I have alarms in the day that say, eat food. I have alarms in the day that say, send gratitude. I have alarms in the day that say literally every single little thing. It's all in a calendar. So when people go, hey, can we jump on a call? No, but you can schedule a call. Yeah. Like, everything has to be in a schedule. And then I am, this one's new for me. I will not do work unless I really choose to, past 6 p.m. That is new for me, because I found out that when I do that, I'm able to reset in ways that fill my soul. And then when I hit it hard the next day, I am explosive. But a little to do for high performers is pay attention to the times of the day that you perform the best. Everyone has those peak hours. For some of you, you need to start doing more morning meetings. For some of you, you need to start doing more afternoon meetings. And for some of you, you need to start doing more evening meetings. For me, you are in my sweet spot right now. So I am always good. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm awesome. Okay. But you got me at a sweet spot where I couldn't have failed on this podcast. Yeah. I couldn't have failed. There's no way. My brain at this time of day, I'm the best in the world. Like, I will spit flames between the hours of 12 noon to about 4:30 p.m. Like, my brain is like at these hours. So all of my really important things, forget about it. It's going in this chunk a day. And if somebody wants a meeting outside of it, I'm allowed to say no.
I love it, girl. Hey, so much goodness. Hey, you're listening to the Win All Day podcast. This is Coach JC with my girl, Jessie Lee. Girl, I could talk to you all day. Guys, you just got to listen to this over and over. If I honestly said this earlier, but I feel like this podcast, from your energy, from the message, from the wisdom that you're delivering, from who you are and the confident woman, I believe there are women that are going to be listening to this. I believe there's men that are listening that are going to say to their wives or their significant other, you got to go listen to this. And you're raising, I believe you're going to allow women to take the leap, the step, the thing that they've been putting off. And so I believe if you're listening right now, you may have, up until today, meeting Jessie Lee, you may have felt beat up, maybe inferior. You may have been questioning the season of your life, what your purpose, your calling, what you're going to do. You may have felt not worthy. You may have been underestimating who you are, and you might not have felt confident up till today. You may have forgot that you were born to be a winner, like we talk about. You may have been taking yourself for granted, but I believe after meeting Jessie Lee that ends today. This is about calling. It's about legacy. It's about impact. It's about destiny. You were born to win. You can win, you will win. And I believe after listening to this episode that this is going to be your winning season. Jessie, I'm so blessed by you. I'm grateful for you, girl. Is there anything else? Because I could talk to you all day. I want to respect your time. Is there anything else that we didn't touch on today that you would love to leave the listeners or the viewers of the Win All Day family with?
I'll just stay aligned with you and say, look, losing is a choice, but so is winning, and winning's better. So just go win.
Woo! Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right. This is Jessie Lee. Where can they find you? Listen, Now, we didn't even get into like you're a social media genius. Like you are
Thank you.
so good. It's ridiculous. There's
Thank
very few people that I think even compete with you at the level you're at. And so if you just want to learn social media, go take notes and follow her. It's I'm boss. Is it I'm BOSSLEE? I am or I'm?
Just
I'm BOSSLEE on Instagram. Where else can they find you? Anywhere else?
Yeah, if you type BOSSLEE anywhere, it'll pop up everywhere because I'm trademarked. But Facebook is Jessie Lee Ward, Instagram's I'm BOSSLEE, TikTok, if you want business stuff, is BOSSLEE Biz. And then my crazy page is I'm BOSSLEE on there too. My podcast is the People's Mentor Podcast. I gotta have you on that too. This is such a great interview. I'm all over the place. I'm like a disease of social media. So feel free to reach out. Instagram DMs are ran by me. So feel free to reach out there and you can get a hold of me easily.
Hey, they really are though. That's crazy you said that because I get that a lot of times where people are like, man, you answered your DM. I respect that about you. That goes a long way. You know, you talk about energy. You know, it's a turnoff to me. Like when I message somebody and they're like, they're my assistant, two of my assistants, and you and me, Dia, that's how we connected on Instagram. And you did answer and we connected. And so I respect that. Hey, girl, I want to end the show like this. I like to do this with every guest. I would love for you to say, I am Jessie Lee. I am a winner. I will win and win all day. Can you do that? I am Jessie Lee. I am a winner. I will win and win all day.
I will win and win. Okay, so I think I got it. I am Jessie Lee, and I am a winner, and I win and will win all day.
All day. Yes, you will. Guys, that concludes this episode. Coach JC here. You're listening to the Win All Day podcast with our special guest, Jessie Lee, and we're just grateful for you today. Who loves you? We love you. Thanks for joining us today. And I want to remind you one last time, you were born a winner, so go win and win all day.